Okay, this is episode 6 of Shadowrun Dragonfall. As you step forward, the rest of your team falls silent. Amsel shifts his attention to you. You can see the worry on his face. Dystopia, I have new information. I'm afraid that news isn't good. So you settle the comms. Go on, we're listening. 2 years ago, a large shipment of a highly lethal radioactive bioweapon disappeared en route to the storage facility in Dresden. The weapon was designated X-15. I have traced the path of the missing shipment. It was delivered to the Harfeld Manor. Well, that sounds horrible. It is. I've heard of this stuff before. Back in service, we called it Doom. I've never run across it in the wild, but I've heard enough horror stories to know that I don't want to. The stories that you've heard are correct. This Doom is an extremely dangerous substance. He gestures to a technical document on his computer display. I've been reading up. To this day, the story of Doom remains a cautionary tale in biotech circles. Monoclonal antibody technology is strictly regulated now, and this substance is one of the reasons why. What does this stuff do exactly? Amsel clears his throat and reads out loud from the information on his screen. Doom kills by destroying a host muscle tissue via radioactive decay. Each individual Doom antibody is bound to a radioactive bismuth-212 isotope. When introduced into a host, these antibodies bind to surface-level muscle tissue. The tissue is then killed with alpha radiation. This process repeats itself until the host wastes away and dies. Jesus. Iger nods grimly. I've heard that Doom was deployed in a couple of border skirmishes back in 41. After seeing what it did to people up close, the UCAS passed a unilateral ban on the stuff. If that doesn't tell you how bad it is, nothing will. Okay, so I hesitate to ask, but what would a dragon want with this Drek? Nothing good. That much goes without saying. This development worries me, Dystopia. It worries me greatly. If the dragon is stockpiling bioweapons, we've got an even bigger problem than we thought on our hands. There is a moment of silence, then Dietrich speaks up. Well, in my book, this doesn't change anything. I mean, it ups the stakes if the Firewing's allowed to carry out their plans, whatever those might be. But we're gonna stop her before that happens. That was always the plan. As far as I'm concerned, it's still a plan now. I agree with Dietrich. We need to focus on what's in front of us. Whatever the dragon's larger plans might be, the fact is that she is after us. We shouldn't let ourselves get distracted by anything else. Amsel is slow to respond. Finally, he nods. Yes, I concur. For the time being, we must continue forward. And that means that you must continue working toward raising Alice's fee. I'll leave the matter in your capable hands, Dystopia. When you've acquired the necessary funds and are ready to head back out to the rabbit hole, let me know. From there, we will discuss our next steps. Iger nods. Good, if you need me, I'll be getting prepped for the next run. Right behind you, love. Dietrich casts a backward glance at Glory. If any of this has had an impact on her, she doesn't show it. Come on, Glory, let's go. Now, you never got back to me about Frau Muller. How did the meeting go? I accepted the job. Any idea how to tackle this? Yes, a few. Frau Muller has provided us with detailed information on the facility. I've vetted the information and it seems to hold up. Based on this intel, I have formulated what I believe will be an effective strategy to bring down the building. According to Muller's intel, the facility is extraordinarily well armed, well guarded. Whatever this bloodline project is, the Assis have spared no expense to defend it. The facility is patrolled by S Technologies' internal security personnel. On their own, they would pose a challenge, but I don't doubt that you could brute force your way through them. Unfortunately, they will not be on their own. As Technology has purchased one of Knight Errant's more expensive security contracts as an additional line of defense. So kicking in the front door is out then. Amsel notes. I should say so. I pulled some strings with an old contact of mine, and he's provided me with an address of a small software developer, OTK International. They write the firmware updates for Knight Errant's comm systems, and their defenses should be considerably weaker than S Technology. My Sorry. My contacts informed me that OTK stores an off-site hard copy of every firmware update it develops for data security purposes. My suggestion is this: you hit the offices of OTK International and reduce their computers to slag. In the interim, I will have the hard copy of their next update replaced with a compromised version. When OTK's next update goes live, our compromised version will be pushed out to Night Errand. When you hit the As Technology facility, I'll be able to track Night Errand via their comlink. This should make the run much more manageable. He fishes in his pocket for something. A moment later, he produced a corporate ID with your face on it. This will get you through the front door of the office part that contains OTK International. My contact was only able to provide me with the one card, so you'll need to let the rest of your team in through a side door. Alright, sounds like a plan. Very good, the OTK offices aren't far from here. You should take the U-Bahn there when you're ready. You have 4 new unread messages. Check your inbox. One last DVD. The screen flickers to life, and Malit's face appears. She wears a plastic smile. How are you again, Dystopia? Well, I've recovered one last DVD for you, but I'm afraid that's all you're gonna get. You might as well use the rest as coasters. They're all beyond repair. If you look on the table beside your DVD player, you'll find a disc that I salvage. She pauses. A slight frown crosses her face. To be completely honest, that was a lie. To recover this last disc, I was forced to subcontract. Shrotti is still a brute of a man. I am unimpressed with his manners, and his poor hygiene disgusts me. But he is very good with old things such as this. All credit where it's due. The message ends, and the image fades. You find yourselves back at your inbox. Payback is sweet. The screen flickers to life, and Maxim's face appears. He's wearing a broad grin, and you can hear the sounds of celebration in the background. Hey there, Muscle. Not sure if Tuck gave me the right address, but I figure it was worth a shot. I don't know if you heard, but our favorite poly club got hit from all sides by the F-State today. It was glorious. Anyway, just thought you'd want to share in the good news, and thanks for your help back there. I don't think we'd made it out if it weren't there without you. You raise a hand and salute. Take care, Dystopia. The message ends and the image fades. You find yourself back at your inbox. Thanks. Alexander to Dystopia. Hey Dystopia, Uncle Dietrich told me that I could message you here, so I figured that I should. He probably told you that I'm living at Samuel's, huh? Well, that's where I am. It's different, I'll give it that much. I like that I don't get the pressure to hurt people here, so that's good, and nobody smacks me around. Even though I can tell that a lot of the the orcs and trolls want to. I do get yelled at a lot and called a lot of names, but I guess that makes me feel bad about the kind of things. It's all a part of the plan. Life kinda sucks right now, but at least nobody's going to make me kill anyone. Uncle D says that it's going to get better, and maybe it will, I don't know. Anyway, what I mostly wanted to say was thanks for not killing me back at the Humanis compound. I had a gun on you, so you totally could have, but you didn't, and I'm glad for that. Thanks, Alexander. We need to talk. Esquivel, Dr. Xavier, to Dystopia. Come see me at your earliest convenience. There's a matter that we need to discuss. Claim payment for the MK6 prototype extraction. To call your work unsatisfactory would be an understatement. When I said that we wanted the prototype, it should have gone without saying that we wanted it intact and operational. You're technically fulfilled the terms of your agreement, so you will get paid, but don't ever expect to work for us again. As Technology Sabotage Run. Here's a brief recap of the operational parameters for this job, as provided me by our potential client. Framula client wants you to level on this technology research facility in order to stop the work. Oh, but I've already gone through that. Post-pay data. Claim pay data. Those pay data are not worth a lot, but yeah. was not what I was planning to do. But okay. Yeah, that was like all my money. Lucky I bought some shit before that. That you want to OTK. Yeah, shit is not even there. Hey again, she knows that you what you need. I don't believe that we met on Dystopia. You know who you are. She takes a drag on a cigarette. How you holding up, champ? Heard what happened to your boss. She wasn't just my boss, she was my friend. She smirks and lets the smoke escape from the corner of her mouth. Yeah, well, sorry for your loss and all that. A lot of people are still torn up about it. So you need something, or you're just going to stand there. But that's like the conversation I had already with her. I don't know why they even open up a new area for a person who doesn't have anything interesting to say. You know, carries a Cavalier frag grenade on each mission instead of a Fichetti frag grenade, which does plus 4 HP damage. Again, gear. Inside wired reflexes adds +1 movement passive. When triggered, user will dodge the first attack each turn against them each round. Yeah, that's if you want to go shotgun them, I guess. What the fuck? That's fucking weird. This is taking a lot. Okay, I guess. It's fucking weird. Blizz's basic cyber eyes are upgraded to deluxe models, accuracy increased by 3% for a total of 6%. Blizz trusted submachine gun now pierces 1 point of armor. Blitz gains a Fairlight Excalibur cyber deck, replacing his old Verta X. Blitz gains a Hydraulic Yak cyberware, increasing his move speed by 4 as a 0 AP action. gains an armor stripping razor attack. 2 hits, and each hit strips. And each hit strips 2 armor from the target. Super Warhawk. It is basic nerve bolt spell. Now flushes enemies from cover when they are hit. They will have quite a lot better stats now. I can't see it now. Yeah, maybe that's why they've had such problem. I think I haven't upgraded them. And Cephalon, next purchase order. I had a piece of hardware shipped here. Could you install it for me? Esbel takes the purchase order from your hand and scans it over. Oh yes, this arrived just this morning. I can certainly install it for you, but it won't be cheap. I expected it must. Tell me what the damage is going to be. I got the message. What did you want to discuss? Business. I have a job for you. I'm always interested in hearing about new business opportunities. Good, so let's get down to brass tacks, shall we? Back before I immigrated here from my native Spain, I worked in partnership with the Berlin-based R&D lab. The biotech that they were developing was very hush-hush, very cutting-edge. Our arrangement was that I would bankroll their research and that they, in turn, would provide me with unique merchandise to sell in my clinics. Clinics? You had more than one? Certainly, I must confess that before I moved to Berlin, I was something of a celebrity doctor. I had a chain of triage clinics that stretched from Bilbao to Madrid. I was a very wealthy man. But then my name was slandered, and the fickle mistress, that is, public perception, turned against me. An ugly business, I assure you. Even talking about my fall from grace makes my stomach turn. The injustice of it all is almost too much to bear. Just how was your name slandered? What did they accuse you of? His eyes. What didn't they? Theft, medical malpractice, a sale of stolen goods. Other, more colorful accusations that do not bear repeating. But that was then, and this is now. I came here to Berlin to escape all of that. Of course, I also moved here to be closer to the lab that I had funded and the merchandise that I mowed. So let me guess, you want me to go fetch your merchandise? Yes, and to find out what happened to the lab itself. The facility is locked down, you see, nearly impenetrable, and I have no idea why. As I was packing to move to Berlin, all was well. 16 hours later, I arrived to discover the building locked tight with my merchandise inside. The Turk Alto has been running surveillance on the site since I set up shop there. In that time, no one has entered and no one has left. Whatever went wrong in there, it must have killed the research team. I want you to find a way into the building, recover the cybertech that they were developing, and find out what happened to the researchers in that order. Alright, let's start compensation. What's in it for me? I can offer you 2,000 yen, plus first crack at whatever biotech you recover from the site. I will, of course, have to charge you for anything that you want to have installed, but I can provide it to you at a discount. This is top of the line ware that we're talking about. Mind you, better than anything else that I've got in stock. And because it's biotech, the essence loss from implanting it will be minimal. It's a good deal, win-win for you, really. So what's it going to be? Will you take the job or not? Alright, Doc, I'm in. Excellent. The facility that you're looking for is the former laboratory of the Sutherland Bioscience. Take the U-Bahn to the Adenauerplatz, and you're sure to find it. Best of luck. Assemble a team and travel to the Adenauerplatz station to find Eskibel, what the fuck's lab. The ride to the Adenauerplatz is a dismal one. Your only company on the train is an elderly dwarf in a ragged peacoat, and he spends most of his time muttering to himself. When the train rattles to a stop, he slowly rises from his perch and begins to hobble towards the doorway. The station itself isn't much different. An old broken down thing at the end of its useful life, feebly tottering towards obsolescence. This area of Berlin has clearly seen better days. A window of light shines down from the surface, and even that looks stale. Slowly, you begin to climb. The streets above the Adenauerplatz are dark and dismal. This Keys has seen better days. Everything here reeks of economic depression and faded glory. Looming above you is a fortress-like, seemingly impregnable facility. The windows have been shuttered with enormous steel panels, lending the entire building a sinister appearance. That's a target, Sutherland Bioscience. I wonder what happened in there. It might still be happening for all that we know. There's a cheerful thought. Come on, boss, let's get this over with. What a dump. Select the decker to jack in. Yeah, well, obviously. Subtling Bioscience. Observation Terminal. This terminal governs the animal testing wing of Subtling Bioscience. Data entries concerning animal test subjects and the procedures performed upon them fill the menu screen. Subtling Bioscience, Animal Testing Observation Terminal, Hellhound Testing Protocols, Basilisk Testing Protocols, Select Hellhound Testing Protocols. This entry contains notes on a variety of invasive test procedures that were performed on a kennel of Hellhound test subject. There are several memos appended to the file. Apparently, the scientists working on the animal testing wing were less convinced that working with dangerous fire-breathing animals would yield useful results than the executives were. Basilisk testing protocols. This entry covers the various forms of experimentation and testing performed on Subtlin's prized possession, a rare albino basilisk acquired from an exotic animal dealer in Portugal. It appears that the basilisk was being used as a primary focus of a passion project at Subtlin, an attempt to create a magically active piece of bioware. Why the executives in charge of the project felt that the basilisk would make an appropriate test subject is not clarified. The list of procedures performed on the creature is extensive, including a series of anesthetized thoracic surgeries. Jesus. This terminal appears to contain an inventory control system for Subtlin Bioscience merchandise. The items are spelled out in amber lettering against a solid black background. A glowing cursor awaits your input. Subtlin Bioscience Product Specimen Inventory. Tissue Banks Organ Farm. This entry provides a complete breakdown of the standard organs that are being grown in the organic chemistry wing of Subtlin Bioscience. It seems that the lab was outfitted with the capacity to mass-produce water-grown meta-human organs, including hearts, kidneys, livers, and lungs. This material would then be used for testing purposes. Breakdown and analysis. This entry contains a complete log of studies performed by Subtlin employees on the products of competing biotech companies. BioWare samples by Universal Omnitech, Shiaways, Proteus AG, and Biogene have all gone under the knife here, and the results of each dissection have been meticulously recorded. Replication/fabrication. This entry contains notes on Subtlin's attempts to replicate products that it had previously dissected and studied. According to the information here, Subtlin had achieved a shocking level of success at producing generic versions of a wide variety of commercial and restricted BioWare products. These knockoff products were commissioned by an outside investor and had been moved into cold storage in the executive wing pending transport. Contract fulfillment. This entry contains a complete breakdown of the organs waiting in cold storage to be claimed by clients and investors. Scanning over the list, you see a number of high-end security level enhancements in inventory. BioWare like this would normally run tens of thousands of yen. If this was what Esquibel was commissioning Subtlin to produce, he could undercut all of his competitors and still make an ungodly profit. Special projects. This entry details a number of projects that involve invasive testing on awakened animals. There are listings for a number of hellhounds, including their complete medical histories. It appears that most of the experimental procedures listed were performed on a subject named Billy, but who or what Billy might be has been left undisclosed. Wow, $73. am rich. No source access detected. Priming weapons systems for pacification. The security computer governs the locks on the door, leading back into the main lab. If you wanted to, you could unlock the door remotely from here. Unlock the door. A wild-eyed young man in a tattered lab coat confronts you. His beard is bushy and unkempt, but bare patches of skin show through. You there, who are you? He stalks towards you, his hands twitching. How dare you enter my domain? Easy there, pal. I thought that this lab was abandoned. Abandoned? This is my territory, my home. You are an invader in my territory, sir, and you have murdered my peasantry. Dietrich mutters under his breath. We've got a live one here, boss. He continues his rant without pausing for a breath. You are a murderer, a monster. You will pay. Hold up, who are you? I am Philip Rex, the Night King of Subtlin Bioscience. I will have you banished for your transgressions, sir. Banished to the underworld and left to the ravages of the all-powerful Billy. He pauses, blinking. Hold still, while I fetch the robots that will banish you. Slow down there, Night King. What are you talking about? I am the sovereign ruler of this building, now and forever. He puffs his chest out even further. By right of succession, the former laboratories of Subtlin Bioscience belongs to me. Succession? Who died? His eyes bulge. Everybody. Everyone but me. Once I share authority with another, my dear friend Heiner, our Dumvirate led this building into a golden age. Together, we liberated the animal testing labs and annexed them into our territory. But then Heiner got eaten by Billy, and the burden of leadership fell onto my shoulders. I did my best to make life good for the peasantry. I scrubbed their plastic cases on a daily basis, and I crooned pleasing melodies to ease their troubled minds. But those days are over now. My peasants are dead. You destroyed something beautiful. Well, I have good news for you, Your Highness. The door is open. You can leave now. Leave. Abandon my kingdom. Never. He puffs out his chest. For I am proud and benevolent ruler. This is my sovereign territory, and I will never abandon it. See what's going on here. Living here alone for 2 years has reduced your mind to pudding. I was alone, not as long as I had my peasantry, but you've changed all of that. His hands begin to tremble. What are you even doing here? Why have you disturbed the peace of my realm? I need to get my hands on the Bioware prototypes that are being stored here in the executive wing. His eyes go wide. The executive wing? Madness. Take this as a warning, noble stranger. If you intend to forge your way into that land of milk and honey, you do so at your own peril. The underworld stands between you and your goal, and the underworld is home to the murderous Billy. I think I've read about this Billy. He was Suttlin's albino basilisk, right? Was. He's right. Now he is much more. A creature of legend. Years of experimentation have remade the beast into the ultimate killing machine. He's smarter than 10 men and 5 times as deadly. I think that I've heard all that I need to about Billy. Just tell me how to get into the executive wing. Very well, stranger. If you cannot be dissuaded, I will help you. The ragged lab tech fishes in his coat pocket with a bony hand and produces a thin slip of plastic. He presents it to you with a flourish. This is my most prized possession, the incomparable keycard B. Using this, you can descend into the underworld and face Billy. If you should survive the encounter, search for the long-missing keycard E. Use it to reopen the executive wing, and I will see to it that you are richly rewarded. It looks like the media setup is wired into the building security system. Video feeds from cameras all over the facility can be viewed here. Search the machine's video archive. Paging through the computer file system, you find a number of archived video feeds from the building's surveillance system. In addition, episodes 1 through 6 of an old Slovakian period fantasy series called Night Kings of Lightning Hold have been saved to the machine desktop. I've heard of that show. Supposed to be horrible. I mean, really, really, really bad. Never watched it myself, but I hear that it made Neil the Orc Barbarian look like high art. Watch the security archive dated 18 months ago. As the video feed kicks in, Philip is engaged in an animated discussion with someone who's standing just outside camera range. You can see his shoes and his shadow, but nothing more. The voice sounds human. You'd guess that the off-camera speaker is a man in his early 20s. Look, we've survived this long. If we play our cards right and do a proper bit of rationing, I reckon that we can live off of the executive snack bar for a long time to come. We'll have plenty of fat and sugar. Those won't be a problem. We've got mixed nuts for protein, and we can get our vitamins and minerals from diet bars. There aren't many of those, but like I said, we'll ration. I'd be willing to bet that we can hold out for 2 or 3 months on what's stashed away in that snack bar. We're sure to be rescued before we run dry. You're fooling yourself, man, ignoring an unpleasant truth rather than facing it. We have to accept the fact that we could be stuck in here for a long haul. The snacks are great and all, but they can't be our stable food stuff. We need to stretch them out as far as humanly possible, and that means supplementing them with something more substantial. There's a long pause. You don't mean? Look, just think of it like farming, right? If we look after our crops, we'll always have food to eat. We have enough supplies on hand to keep the tissue cultures in the Orgchem wing growing indefinitely. What I'm talking about is growing meat for our own survival. That's all it is. Meta-human meat, Phil. Synthetic hearts and livers and kidneys grown to be implanted into people like you and me. You're talking about eating people parts. It's fucking disgusting and I won't do it. Unless you fancy dying of malnutrition, you're gonna have to. You know that as well as I do. Organ meats are rich in vitamins and minerals, choline, CoQ10, vitamin D, bioavailable iron, all things that we're gonna need if we want to survive in the long term. You won't find much vitamin D in licorice sticks and choco nubs. You're talking like they're never going to rescue us. We're in Berlin, Heiner. What day? Who do you think is coming? We need to be prepared to survive here for a long time, maybe years. And that means making the most of the resources at our disposal. You're talking about resorting to cannibalism, man. No, I'm talking about eating meat. Watch the security archive dated 14 months ago. An image flickers into the frame. Philip leaning against the wall, listlessly chewing on an unidentifiable hunk of cooked meat. He looks miserable. A drone comes to inspect him, and he pushes it away. Heiner's voice crackles in over the intercom. Philip doesn't look up. I'm going now, Phil. No more arguments, okay? There's a long pause. In lieu of responding, Philip takes another bite of meat and gnashes it with his teeth. I'll kill that fucking thing, you'll see. That goddamn basilisk is going down. Once we can get down into the sewers again, we might be able to find a way out. This is our chance, Philip. Wish me luck. Philip says nothing. The video continues to play for a time, then cuts to static. Watch the security archive, dated 11 months ago. Relax. The video feed flickers onto the screen. In it, you find Philip standing in the corner of the room that you're in. He looks haggard, exhausted, and he carries a haunted look in his eyes. Heiner is notably absent. Cheap synthesized music pipes in from somewhere off screen. Philip turns to stare in the direction that the music came from. A smooth baritone voice sings out the phrase in Slovak. A half second later, a different voice shouts a translation in German. Night Kings of Lightning Home. Philip stares glassy-eyed as the shows begin. The synthesized music blares. A deep, trollish voice rumbles out of the media center speakers. I'll just skip that shit. The screen flickers and a video feed of Philip pops onto the screen. He's standing in the corner watching an episode of Night Kings of Lightning Home. His jaw hangs slack and he stares at the screen in rapt attention. But father, Titonius Rex is risking his life. Nay, his very soul to defend Lightninghold from the Uburtons. His enchanted sword, Argonar, feeds upon his honor and bravery, and it seeks to transform him from a noble Night King into an evil demon lord. Philip's lips move silently, mouthing the words as they are spoken. Evidently, he has committed the entire script to memory. My darling daughter, that is why I cannot send my troops. Your beloved Titonius Rex walks the knife's edge between light and darkness every time he draws that devil blade from its scabbard. It is long past time that you learn the truth about me, Brenna. I was the one who trapped the demon lord Karoborg within that blade. The breathy actress lets out a sharp gasp. Phil mimes the motion, and a tear begins to trace its way down his cheek. But father, you can't mean. Yes, my daughter. I was the one they called Thunderspear, a sworn enemy of Titonius Rex's people, the Honga barbarian tribe. Then all of this is your fault, the Ubothons, the threat to my beloved souls. All of it. It was the only way to save Thrallashen, my darling daughter. Thrallashen and your mother, whom I hid away when you were but a girl. She's still alive, Brenna. A security drone floats by to inspect Philip idly. He reaches out and begins to stroke its casing, petting it as if it were a house cat. The video feed flickers and sputters out, and you find yourself back at the main menu. Watch the security archive, dated today. The screen flickers and Philip appears on the screen. He appears to be dancing with one of the security drones. The little machine weaves and bobs frantically to avoid colliding with him, and with every motion, the lab tech slides in to fill the empty space. Around and around they go, twirling and riding across the laboratory floor. There is an enormous smile on Philip's face. Then the light goes dim and an alarm begins to sound. Danger, danger, intruder detected. Security protocols engaged. I admire your bravery, noble vassal. Philip rests a hand on top of the little drone. But this is my fight. I, Philip Rex, will defend this land with my life. Indeed, with my very soul. Sir, please clear the area. Hostiles inbound. No, noble spirit, it is you who must. I repeat, clear the area. Hostiles inbound. He nods slowly, his face beaming with pride. Maybe you're right. I am already a Night King. Perhaps this is your time to shine. I will not rob you of this moment of glory. I will allow you your moment in the sun. And when you return victoriously, I will grant you lands and titles to reward your heroism. Please clear the area. Philip turns and steps out of camera range. The drone is joined by two others, which wait in a holding position facing the camera. The picture breaks into static and the video feed cuts off. This console seems to control the locking mechanism for the door in front of you. A keycard reader has been set in the front bezel of the console. Text on the screen reads Keycard access, clearance level B. Swipe your clearance B keycard. The key panel's LED indicator blips to a more pleasant hue, and the door unlocks with a thunk. Swipe your keycard B clearance. The safe sharps and the door swings open. Sematic, auto-injector bliss. Clearance B panel. Swipe your B clearance B keycard. Well, hello there, Mr. Hellhound. The gates, they're finally open. Yes, they have finally opened. Thank you, my friend. You have granted me the secret desire that my heart yearned for. Most. A respectable supply of non-organic based food. You will always be welcome in these hallowed halls. I, Philip Rex, do so swear. I want to know about the prototype Bioware. He shrugs. It's Bioware. Pretty standard stuff. Pain editors, trauma dampers, also skin, things like that. And all of it was reverse engineered from existing Bioware products, right? I read up on the subtle end process. Yes, that's right. Knockoffs. I nod slowly. Dangerous work. Illegal most places, but not here in Berlin. Our investors need it that way. I guess that explains why Esquibel didn't hire a company in Spain. In Old Tigli, yes, too risky. Here in Berlin, no problems with the law, because there is no law. Just have to be careful. All for naught, though. Our copies were good, just like the real thing. But who cares? It's all just meat in the end. If you won't miss that meat, I'll take it off your hands. Go right ahead, fill your pockets, take whatever you like. I, on the other hand, will avail myself of the snack bar. You're really into this Night Kings of Lightning Hole show, aren't you? Yeah, whatever. Maybe I should have read it after all. Disengage the building's quarantine protocols. All it takes is a few keystrokes to disengage the quarantine. Apparently, Philip isn't particularly well versed in basic building systems operations. Finding a copy of the 7th episode of Night Kings of Lightning Hole proves to be a more ambitious undertaking. Eventually, you find a pirate site for old TRID programs. According to the synopsis, the show ends with Titanius Rex victory over the Ubathon horde after he inspires a peasant revolt to defeat the invaders. This development was not well received by the show's admittedly few fans, who complained that it came out of nowhere. In addition, many of the show's ongoing plot threads were left unresolved. You download the episode to Phil's Media Center and power down the machine. The quarantine is off now. The final episode of your show is on the records computer. Yes, peace will be known and brought to the land. Phil takes off running in the direction of the records room. Sure, I'll take one free karma. As you emerge, blinking into the light of day, you find yourself standing face to face with a veritable wall of security personnel. A man in an expensive suit raises a megaphone to shout at you. You, stay right there where you are. The megaphone really isn't necessary, man. I'm standing right here. You will place the stolen Bioware samples that you're carrying on the ground, then lie on your belly with your hands on your head. Do it now, or I will order my men to open fire. I didn't steal anything. The owner of this material commissioned me to retrieve it for him. Esquibel, you mean? Yes, we know all about him. He has quite a reputation back in Spain. Where with the Chihuahua street scum, and that material infringes on 15 of our company's patents. The organs that you're carrying are based on our intellectual property. This is unbelievable. This place is locked down for 2 years, and you choose today to come visit? You think that it's a coincidence? We came when the quarantine was broken. We've had eyes on this place since the lockdown went into effect. You called us here when you opened the doors. Why the wait? You could have broken into this place months ago. The building was quarantined, idiot. It's cheaper to set up a camera than it is to mount a hazmat cleanup effort. As long as that counterfeit merchandise was contained, we didn't care that it was in there. But it will not hit the streets. Now shut your mouth and hit the floor, or I'll order my men to open fire. Don't make me kill you, man. He shakes his head in disgust. Idiot Shadowrunner. You people don't know when to keep your mouth shut. Men, open fire. A shrill voice crackles over the building's intercom system. It reverberates through the empty streets. You will not threaten this man, you Yubaton dog. The fuck? Too long have my people lived in fear of your aggression. I, Philip Rex, will protect this land from your mongrel deprivations. The corporate spokesman turns to address the security officers behind him. You two, enter the building. Find whoever's on that intercom and silence him. Yes, sir. He turns back to face you, reaching for the sidearm on his hip. And as for you, the lab tech's voice rings down from the speakers underneath it. You can hear the distinct sound of fingers hammering on a keyboard. Peasants, arise and defend your home. You need only believe in yourself. The power is yours. %97% miss. I like it. As the smoke begins to clear, a cry of jubilation sounds out over the Sutlin Bioscience Building's intercom system. We've done it! We've done it, my friends! The Ubathon hordes have been defeated. With this great victory, I declare a new age of exploration and commerce. My peasants will form trade agreement with our neighboring kingdoms for a betterment of all. Thanks for the assist, but I really have to get going. Yes, of course, you must return your samples to the rightful owner before they thaw. Farewell, stalwart sir, we will remember you always. You hear the rustling sound of Phil pushing himself away from the intercom. A few seconds later, the building's external speakers fall silent. Crazy fucker. Back. U-Bahn trip back from the Adenauer Platz is a shaky one. Surprisingly, the train is packed. The only empty seats are the ones very back of the car. A haggard-looking young mother marches down the aisle, dragging her three screaming children behind her. Two boys and a girl, each around 6 years old. As the woman nears you, her eyes fix on the frozen pouches of bioengineered meat that you liberated from Suttlin's executive freezer. She opens her mouth to say something, but at that moment, the little girl jams a finger into her brother's nose. The boy howls, and the young mother's shoulders slump. Slowly, robotically, she turns back towards her destination and begins to trundle forward, dragging her squealing offspring forward with the solemnity of a funeral procession. Eventually, the train hums to a stop. You debark gratefully, lugging a freezer's worth of Bioware samples behind you. Escobil's expression brightens when he catches sight of you. Ah, you're back. Do you have my merchandise? Bioware samples. I do, in fact. It's right here. He greedily snatches the samples from your hands. So you do. Yes, yes. This is exactly what I've been waiting for. Good work, Dystopia. The doctor turns away, rifling through the samples and inspecting their labels. He looks like a kid in a candy store. I will transfer 2,000 yen into your account for the job, and if you'll give me a moment, I'll add the samples that you've recovered to my inventory. He looks over the samples that you've brought him and eagerly begins punching their serial numbers into his PDA. I think that you'll be pleasantly surprised. And now, if you'll excuse me, his sentence trails off as he returns his attention to his merchandise. Thanks, Doc. Auto-injector Bliss. I found the schematic. Can you make and install it? Interesting. These types of implanted injectors have become popular with some of the local gangs. Yes, I can install it, though I will need payment for the materials. I need cyberware. As plus one movement when triggered, you will dodge the first attack against you each round. Influences others subconsciously, granting the user subtle edge, adds plus one charisma. A processor that boosts the user's knowledge-based skills adds plus one intelligence. Type Jack. Okay. Boost hard function, plus one dodge and throwing weapons. High energy flashbulbs hidden in cyberware. Cyber Eye, capable of temporary blinding an opponent. It's a lot of fucking things. Pain editor. when we have some more cash. If I didn't donate 5,000 cash, we could have bought some cool stuff, I guess. Assemble the team and travel to the OTK International offices to tap Knight Errant Communications in preparation for your run against As Technology. Earwig, OTK International is a small-time software developer, and it shows. The company's main office is crammed up against the back wall of a massive shared office park, surrounded by competing businesses and larger corporations. A steady trickle of dead-eyed wage slaves flow in and out of the complex. The office park's main entrance is overflowing with hired security, but your forged keycard gets you past them easily enough. A few minutes later, you're walking the winding corridors towards OTK International. You're only a few smashed computers away from putting Amsel's plan into motion. Passing through the main doors of OTK International, you find yourself in a stretch of industrial hallway. Apparently, the company is too small to warrant such amenities as a lobby or greeting area. The rest of your team is waiting for you at the OTK side entrance, outside of the office park, and beyond the reach of building security. Letting them in should be as easy as opening a service door. As you pass by the open door, you see a middle-aged wage slave working at a console. His back is faced to the doorway, and he doesn't seem to have noticed you. Sneak up behind him. You begin creeping towards the wage slave. He's so engrossed in his work that he doesn't seem aware of anything else. Duck and hide behind the nearest desk. The wage slave completes his turn. He stares blankly out the door for a moment, then shakes his head. He mutters something about needing to get more sleep, rubs his eyes, and returns to work. Continues sneaking towards the wage slave. You resume creeping across the room. Seconds later, you're right behind him. Ah, I want to show you my gold shoes. Tap him on the shoulder. The wage slave simultaneously leaps out of his chair and attempts to whirl towards you. His knee smashes into the corner of his desk, and he goes crashing to the ground, wailing. Offer him a hand to help him up. Sorry to stall you, I'm new here, and I just want to introduce myself. He reaches up with a scowl and clasps your hand. Slowly and painfully, he pulls himself to his feet. You're going to give someone a heart attack, sneaking around like that. Not the best way to make a first impression. He rubs his knee with a scowl. Alright, new guy, what's your name? Jonathan. I'm a contractor. Look, I've been here for 36 hours, and I was supposed to clock out 45 minutes ago. Do you need something from me? Because if not, I'm out of here. Nothing, they can't wait until morning. Go get some rest. You look like you could use it. Yeah, crunch time again. Gotta love it. With keystrokes, he locks the console and turns to the door. Let him go. Good night, pal. A well-used calendar is hung on the wall, covered in notes and appointment. June 29th has been circled about a half dozen times. The filing cabinets have all been labeled in neat block printing. The desk before you is well kept. The papers are stacked neatly, the drawers are closed, and the terminal is shut off. Search the drawers. The content of the drawers make it clear that this desk belongs to a supervisor of some sort, a Mr. Stephen Williams, according to the nameplate. You find plenty of employee performance evaluations, schedules of upcoming meetings and deadlines, and other decidedly uninteresting files and papers. One of the drawers, however, is locked. Investigate the locked drawer. The drawer appears to be secured by some sort of electronic lock. The desk itself, however, looks relatively flimsy. You might be able to force the drawer open. Examine the lock further. There's no visible keyhole, no input pad, and no card reader. The lock must be controlled through the computer terminal. Turn on the terminal. The terminal boots up quickly. Crack the password. Logged in as S. Williams. Unlock the drawer. With a sharp clicking sound, the maglock releases and the drawer pops out. Amongst the various other items in the locked drawer, you find the supervisor ID badge. Standing in the hallway is a janitor, a tired-looking woman in her mid-30s. She is staring at you, her eyes wide with surprise. You can't help but notice the alarm panel set into the wall just behind her. With a flick of her wrist, she could make your job infinitely more complicated. Oh, excuse me, you startled me there. A look of confusion crosses the janitor's face as her eyes flit from you to your teammates, to the door that you just let them in through. You are suddenly aware of how very out of place you look in this building. And the furrow on the janitor's brow tells you that she's made the same observation. Who are you exactly, and how did you get into this building? I'm an old friend of the development lead. We shared a dorm together at the University of Berlin. Aha, she does not sound convinced. Look, how much does it cost me to get you to step away from that alarm? I can pay. Yeah, look, if you wouldn't mind hanging out right here, I think that security might like to have a word with you. She begins to turn towards the alarm panel, set into the wall. No, wait, don't do that. Compelling though they may be, your arguments fall on deaf ears. The janitor smacks the panel with an open palm, and the shrill wail of an alarm klaxon fills the air. Fuck me. ring for the drone control console. I'll get those drones into the fight, sir. Let's kill that fucking rigger then. Damn it, they killed our rigger. No shit, Sherlock. Must be something off screen that's... It's a lot of fucking security. It's those melee fuckers that for some reason don't know what the fuck to do with themselves. Jesus Christ, there's a lot of fuckers. I mean, this would have been harder if the melee cubes actually did anything. But yeah, the combat AI in these games are not too good. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's not normal to miss this much. Ouch. Oh. It's a trap. Yeah, the cube can't move. What's with this fucking... Wonder if there are level 3 programs I should buy.
missing.
U-Bahn ride home is smooth and uneventful. The higher-ups at the OTK International must be scrambling to try and recover their losses. It's only a matter of time before they make a call and Amsel's compromised data is uploaded to Knight Errant's comlinks. You're going to be rolling into As Technology with one hell of an advantage. Not bad for a night's work. Funny that these are worth different. We're back. Blitz's eyes widen when he sees the drone that you're carrying. He looks anxious. Hey Chief, how's it going? I found this drone in that hotel vault. Does it belong to you? Yeah Chief, that's mine. I didn't want to say anything at the time since it was my idea to have you loot the vault in the first place. What was he doing in there? It's my personal drone. Good to have something to hide behind when you're on a solo decking run, you know? Luster took it from me when she seized control of the Swordsherson. I've been hoping to get it back ever since. I've gotta say, Chief, it hurts me to see her all banged up to hell like she was. Looked like Luster had a few of her goons take turns on my baby with the baseball bat. But it looks like you've got her up and running again. How'd you manage it? Mallet fixed the drum. She says that it won't listen to anyone but you, though. Score, so can I have it back? Sure, it's no use to me anyway. Blitz stubs out his cigarette at your approach. Dystopia, I was hoping I'd see you. Do you have another run lined up for us yet? I'm strapped for cash. Don't worry, we're doing fine on the job front. Amsel's been working overtime. Oh, thank God, and thank you, Chief. Thank Paul, too. Come to think of it. So, did you have a question for me, or was this a social call? Just checking in on you. Money problems aside, you doing okay? Not too bad, Chief. Not too bad at all. It's downright cozy in here. This probably goes without saying, but it's also nice to have my skills appreciated by someone who isn't a drug-addled psychopath. Gang life was getting old. Why are you so strapped for cash? With all the work we've been doing, you should be rolling in the end. Have you ever heard of an organization? What can I say, Chief? He tries on thoroughly unconvincing smile, but immediately seems to think better of it. The anxious look returns to his face. I have expensive tastes. How expensive are we talking here? Even if you have a raging cram habit, I'd think that you'd have at least some money left. Expensive, truth be told, I'm in debt. In debt to who? He hesitates before responding. When he does, his voice carries an edge of annoyance. No offense, but this is getting a little too personal, Chief. My debts are none of your business. You come to me begging for work and then tell me that it's not my business. No, Blitz. You tell me why you need the money. Blitz shakes his head in exasperation. Alright, fine. First off, you don't need to worry about anyone coming after me. My debts are to a bunch of old contacts. If I don't pay them, I'm gonna lose them. And in this line of work, it isn't smart to burn bridges. Second, before you ask, these debts are for services rendered. I was in a tight spot. I needed some help. And I threw around a lot of IOUs to get it. Third and finally, the trouble I was in involves a girl. I'll tell you about it if you ask me to, but we're verging deep into personal feelings territory, so if you don't want to hear my sob story of my ex-girlfriend, you'll drop the subject now. So it's up to you, Chief. You really want to go down this road, or shall we keep this relationship professional? This is a professional relationship, and the last thing I want to hear, is to hear about your love life. Well, the thing is, the last thing I want is to talk about it, so we're even. He offers you a lopsided grin. Now do me a favor and get out of here, okay? Let me smoke in peace. Okay, that is for now. I have some stuff to do, but thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.